Hi there, welcome to Profit First. We've finished the lockdown lessons now, you'll be pleased to know. We're not going to be talking about COVID and the effects of COVID anymore, which is great news. So I've now decided to start a new series of broadcasts with local business owners. And with me today, I've got Lisa Munro of Mark Creative, part of the Global Staples Group. So firstly, I just wanted to say a big hello to you, Lisa.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. No problem. So for people that don't actually know who you are and what Mark Creative do, perhaps you could just give us a bit of an insight, please, Lisa.
Certainly. So Mark Creative is basically a promotional merchandise agency. As you said, we are part of the Staples business, headquartered in the US. So we basically provide merchandising solutions to companies and corporates, mainly focused in the UK and Europe. And when we say merchandise solutions, that is, if you can think of anything you need branded, we do it. So we can apply your brand to anything. And we also support customers making, getting their staff or their dealers or franchisees access to their merchandise more easily by building e-stores for them. So any of their network or staff can go online and order merchandise that we have branded and held in our warehouses.
Fantastic. And do you actually set up the e-commerce websites to enable them to do that?
We do, yes. We build those according to their needs, what regions they need serviced, what kind of financial back-end systems they need. So everything is built according to a customer's requirements.
Lovely. Okay. So obviously a lot's gone on in the last couple of years. So perhaps you could give us a sort of a snapshot of what's actually happened during COVID and how your business has come out of COVID as well.
Yes, look, I think like any business, the past couple of years have been incredibly challenging. Obviously, some industries were hit harder than others. And, you know, I would say our industry was very much affected. You know, I'd say the majority of our customers tend to be from the marketing and operations arena in a company. And as many people will know, the first thing that gets cut in budgets in any company during tough times is the marketing budget. And obviously with all the cancellations of events, you know, majority of companies would use branded items for sales tools at conferences, at trade shows, etc. So there was a big impact to us from the beginning. So the past 2 years has very much been about getting a sense of where we can support customers instead, what other areas with no events going on that we can support them. So for a while we were doing quite a lot of PPE for our customers and also pivoting a bit towards supporting them in terms of staff engagement. So a lot more branded goods being used to welcome staff on board, particularly when they're working, you know, a lot more are working remotely. Incentives, recognition, anything like that to reward staff and really support engagement during challenging times for a business.
That's great. I've heard so many, and I'm sure you have as well, so many positive stories of people that have actually pivoted their business because they've had to, but they've come up with some creative ideas that sort of they might think about doing again going forward. And did that actually apply to you then? Did you sort of find things that you did during COVID? You thought, hang on a minute, this is something we could carry on doing after lockdown?
Absolutely. I mean, we're still, you know, to this day, we're still seeing a lot more companies place more importance on using merchandise to support staff and that kind of connection and engagement. You know, we've obviously still many businesses going through or experiencing the Great Resignation. So it's how do you use additional items to make your staff feel, you know, rewarded and engaged with your business. So that is still, you know, remains a significant part of what we do to this day.
It's funny actually, because yeah, a lot of the people I speak to talk about, business owners I speak to talk about, you know, they're looking to hire new staff, but very few of them actually talk about staff retention. And actually, you know, if when you're looking at clients, people say, well, you need to spend 80% of your time on client retention and 20% on acquisition. And I would say the same probably applies for staff as well, right? For team members.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you think about the cost of recruitment, you know, the fees that you're paying recruitment agencies to bring new staff on board, there's the downtime as you get people up to speed with all the training in regards to what they need to do for their role. So the financial impact of bringing new staff on board is quite considerable. So investing in those staff that you have already, I mean, obviously when they come on board, ensuring they feel welcomed from the get-go and are excited to be part of your business and your vision, and then continuing to make them, to recognize them, to make them feel rewarded, whether that's, through rewards and awards or learning and development. I think it's all part of that, that overall program to ensure that your staff members are engaged. I think it's a far more profitable way to approach staffing within a company.
Absolutely. So what would you say, Lisa, has been your sort of biggest win since everyone was allowed back into the big wide world?
I think it's more from just the rewards of seeing people again and having our team back into the office. I think it's been incredibly challenging for so many people in the world and so many, employees in business. They've been through some very tough times, whether it's, loss of family members or going through, having experienced the effects of COVID themselves, huge levels of uncertainty, and obviously, a lot of people not being able to socialize or connect with others. So I think, just being able to come back into a place, even if it is hybrid, as we have adopted that hybrid working to ensure that people do have that flexibility and don't have to spend as long commuting. I think it's just been wonderful to see people come back into our space and engage and feel a lot more connected to others, as it were. So we've seen a big increase in kind of positivity, and that, that all rolls up into the success of the business. We have bounced back from the sales and revenue impacts of COVID. So I think overall that, it's all just contributing to much bigger wins, as it were, from a business perspective, and the business looking, very strong financially.
Good, excellent. So what would you say is a challenging question? This is Lisa. So what would you say is the number one thing you've learned about yourself during the last 2.5 years or so?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know whether if it's that I've learned it about myself, but it's certainly been put to the test in that, throughout my career, I've often been recognized for being quite resilient. And I think that, that definitely came to the fore during COVID. Our business is also quite significantly impacted by Brexit. As I said, we service customers across Europe as well as the UK. So ensuring we were set up to continue servicing those customers post-Brexit with all the challenges of customs and duties, and still being able to get product to customers without them having to pay additional costs and taxes. So we did have to set up an additional entity in Europe. There are a lot of processes for our team to learn and to get to grips with. So I think, a lot of it has just been about ensuring that you're constantly there to support your team and reassuring them that things will get better. We don't know when it will get better, but I think you've just always got to find a way to look to the positive, even in the, the most challenging times. There's always something that's good about your day or about your week. So I think it's, very much about, I've been really drawing on that and ensuring that I'm looking after myself and I'm looking after my stress levels, etc., and really doing what I can to support the team in the same way.
Fantastic. I think that's the word self-care has sort of become more popular and more common these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's absolutely huge.
I think, sorry, and one thing I was just going to say, I think business leaders are the worst at this.
Absolutely.
Just tend to take on far too much and just keep ploughing on, because we do, most of us do have the business and our staff's best interests at heart, and we really want them to succeed as well. So we often put ourselves, we don't kind of think of our own self-care, but I think that is very important.
Yeah, and also, Lisa, following on from that, the irony of that is that most of us know exactly what we need to do. It's not a lack of education that's the problem, is it? It's actually just taking a step back and thinking, right, well, how can we how can we get more from ourselves, or how can we, you know, learn to de-stress and just taking that time out for yourself. So no, I totally agree with that. So what are your future plans then for Mark Creative over the next sort of year or so, Lisa?
So I think the main thing is really continuing to always get a sense of how we can support our customers best. You know, this is spoken a lot in the business world. Making sure you're adaptable to change, you're agile, and you're always looking for ways to update and grow. So I think it's continuing to assess just what is going on in the business world and how we can support our customers. Obviously, digital is key. So the fact that we do build these e-stores, there's always ways to improve those. Most people's expectations when experiencing e-commerce stores, they want everything on demand and delivered straight away at a very low cost, like we've been led to experience with Amazon. So we continue to work along those lines in terms of how can we make our digital offering more effective, easy to use across both the UK and Europe and globally, in fact, because as I said, we do tie into the Staples network globally and offer that kind of support for large global corporations as well. So it's that consistency globally. So, I do think it's just always how can you do better? What is working? What's not working? What can we try to mix things up a bit and make things different, and potentially find additional ways to grow.
Good. So, final couple of questions for you then. So, if your ideal customer is watching this right now, what might that customer look like in terms of their role and their industry, and where they're at and what they're responsible for, and then how would you go about engaging with them and helping them initially?
Yep. So I think from industry perspective, we love customers from any industry at all. It is one of the interesting things about working in this field is you do get so much exposure to different industries and learning about different industries. We're always looking for, understanding a customer's business and what their objectives are, and then finding if, merchandise can help them achieve something within their business. So we tend to mostly deal with customers within marketing, events, and HR within any business. I would say we kind of have two focuses from the customers that we would seek to work with. Larger corporate organizations may have a large network across the UK and Europe, lots of staff, so they would be interested in building an e-store for their networks and ensuring all of their offices or businesses, or as I said, franchisees, have access to the same quality merchandise products with consistent branding that adheres to brand guidelines. So that kind of customer. And then we also do what we class as custom order. So if you're looking to produce a unique item that you would also like to get branded, we have a vast supply chain network, both within the UK and Europe, as well as across the rest of the world. So, we can source large volumes of products for events, or even, we support or we supply retailers as well. So as I said, any product that you need to source and anything you need branded is pretty much what we can do.
And I suppose you probably take quite a sort of consultative approach as well, right, in terms of helping people understand what else they could use to actually engage their team members and their clients more readily, yeah?
Absolutely, yes. We love, we work very closely with our customers to understand their needs, and, drawing on our expertise of events and staff engagement and, all that kind of, that area. Very much love working to support customers with that knowledge.
That's brilliant, because I think a lot of people need to, need answers to the sort of question of what works and what doesn't work, because otherwise, if they do it by themselves, there's a good chance they could waste a whole heap of time and energy and money buying the wrong things and distributing them and engaging in the wrong way, and then they're left scratching their heads why they've why they've wasted half their marketing budget.
Absolutely. I mean, we're very much focused. We understand that having return on investment is so important for all businesses. you know, our company has always been very focused on our tagline of products with a purpose. And interestingly, that very much aligns with the push for, you know, more sustainable products and ways of operating these days. But for us, it's always been about if you understand your end user, what their lifestyle, what products they find useful, then the solutions that we would suggest are far more relevant, are far more likely to be kept by the end user and not just shoved in a drawer or thrown to landfill. So, you know, really ensuring that we understand in the products that you are, you know, gifting or distributing are really going to be valued, and you know, that adds to that, you know, definitely provides return on investment from a branding perspective, as well as supporting any efforts around sustainability.
Absolutely, I totally agree. So final question then, how best can people reach you? If they want to reach out to you and find out more about Mark Creative and what you do, how best can they reach you, Lisa?
So as always, online is probably the easiest. So we do have a website, which is markcreative.com. And you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. We have a Mark Creative page on LinkedIn, but you can also reach out to me personally on LinkedIn.
Lovely. And what we'll do afterwards in the comments below, I'll ask one of my team to just to key in that information, so no one misspells anything or mistypes anything. So for now, Lisa, thank you very much for being my very first guest on Profit First, and yeah, catch up soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.